Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us in this first session of day three. For this session, I would like to welcome uh, our young and talented faculty member, Dr. Afroz Alam, for delivering a lecture on optimal placement of protective devices in distribution system using MATLAB. This is the part first of his lecture. The part second of this lecture will be delivered after the lunch. Dr. Afroz Alam is Assistant Professor in Department of Electrical Engineering, AMU Aligarh. He has received his BTech degree from AMU and MTech and PhD degrees from IIT Roorkee. He is currently working in the Zakir Hussain College of Engineering and Technology, AMU Aligarh. He has 7 years of teaching experience and 2 years of industrial experience. He has published more than 20 research papers in various journals, conferences, including reputed journals. He is also a very uh, active in online classroom teaching, and he has been uploading his lectures, which are very viral on the internet, and he is operating his YouTube channel also. So I welcome Dr. Afroz Alam. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Muhammad Danish, for the wonderful introduction and a very warm welcome to all the participants to this session. My topic is optimal placement of protective devices in distribution system using MATLAB. Knowing the fact that the participants are from all the fields, I will try to have a balance between technical aspects and the technique being used for optimization apart from the basic concept of electrical engineering involved in my topic. So first session, we will discuss a very well-known optimization technique and genetic algorithm you might be knowing. And after that, we will discuss the its application perspectives towards the objective set. So let us start our first session with genetic algorithm. Genetic algorithm is basically inspired by natural evolution, which mainly focuses on the fact of survival of fittest. Whoever is fitter will have more chance of surviving. So how we are going to utilize this natural evolution in computation of engineering problems, we will discuss one by one. First theoretical aspects and then how we are going to solve our problem using math. So what is GA? Okay. Yes. Yes. Just give me 1 minute. I am sharing my screen. Just check from the audience whether my screen is visible or not. Please continue checking. So, as I stated, GA is inspired on natural evolution. So, what is GA? In GA, we are starting with a set of feasible solutions. Each set is known as a chromosome. Each solution is known as chromosome, and the set of chromosomes is known as a population. So initially, we are creating a set of chromosomes based on some expert knowledge or using some other heuristic technique or any initial case. Just we have to take care of feasibility of the solution. Not optimal, but it must be feasible. So starting from here, now we are trying to reach to our goal, to our target, to our solution, optimal solution, and using mainly governing between exploration and exploitation. Basically, we are going to have a trade-off between exploration and exploitation. What are these two terms? I will discuss later. Before that, each feasible solution will have its own fitness. Suppose we are having a population of 10 chromosomes. So each chromosome represents a feasible solution of our problem, whatever problem it may be from any discipline, not necessarily in electrical engineering. It may be from any discipline. So we will have, so corresponding to 10 chromosomes, we will have 10 different fitnesses, in which one will be the best one and one will be the worst one, and remaining will be in between the two, worst and the best. So from this, we are starting our computation. So we'll use exploration and exploitation. Exploitation indicates whatever solution so far we have in our hand. We have to utilize those information. And exploration means we have to explore the search space. All the feasible solutions we have to explore in a shortest way. It is not a wise step to check one by one for each feasible solution, as it will increase our computational burden a lot. So how we are going to reach to our global solution using genetic algorithm, using exploration and exploitation, and how to have a balance between these two, how to make a trade-off between exploitation and exploration, and what are the disadvantages of not having good balance between these two. We will discuss one by one. In between, if you think somewhere, you can stop me and you can ask your questions. As stated, genetic algorithms are categorized as global search heuristics and inspired by evolutionary biology, such as inheritance, mutation, selection, and crossover, also known as recombination. So the set of chromosomes is known as genotype, phenotype. Each chromosome is known as genotype, also known as genome. So basically, we can summarize our discussion so far. This is inspired by natural evolution, and this is population of individuals, and each individual is feasible solution to the problem. Each individual is characterized by a fitness. Higher fitness corresponds to better solution. Based on their fitness, parents are selected to reproduce offspring for a new generation. This part indicates our exploitation step. We are going to exploit the information available so far. So we are going to create a new offspring from the available chromosomes. For that, we are going to select two parents, two chromosomes, and the chromosomes are selected randomly, but chromosomes having better fitness are having higher chances of participating in the formation of offspring. We will discuss it later. New generation has some same size as old generation. It means if we are having a population size of 10 chromosomes, so once we have formed a new offspring, then we are going to check its fitness, whether it is coming out to be better than the worst fitness available so far in our population or lesser than that. If this is coming out to be better than the worst fitness of the chromosomes available so far, then it will replace that worst fitness chromosome. So this way, the size will remain intact. That is, if we have started a population of 10 chromosomes, so again we will have the population of 10 chromosomes, but the new offspring will be available in the new chromosome, provided it is having the better fitness than the worst chromosome of the previous populations available so far. So these are some key terms. Individual, any possible solution can form an individual. Population will be group of all individuals. Search space, all possible solutions to the problem. This will be the search space. So for any problem, you might have observed that lots of feasible solutions will be existing, in which optimal will be one and only one. So our target is to find out that global solution, optimal solution of your problem. Chromosome, blueprint for an individual. Trait, possible aspect, that is feature of an individual. Allele, possible setting of traits such as black, blunt. Locus, the position of a gene on the chromosome. And genome, as stated earlier, collection of all chromosomes will be known as genome. Chromosomes will also be known as phenomes, and collection of all phenomes will be termed as genome. These are the few key terms involved in genetic algorithm optimization technique. So here you may observe that one chromosome consists of various genes. So if you are going to assign some color to a particular gene, this may be binary, this may be real number, this may be any permutation of numbers or a combination of colors, etc. So we may observe that a set of genes forms a chromosome, and a chromosome represents a feasible solution to your problem. So we have several chromosomes, and the set of these chromosomes is known as genome. So this is a basic GA scheme in which we are starting our population, known as initialization, and then we are going to exploit from the informations available so far with our population. And for that we need crossover. For crossover, we need to select two chromosomes, known as parent selection. So once parents are selected, how parents are selected we will discuss later. So once parents are selected, crossover is performed, and we will discuss later how crossover is being performed. 1-point crossover, 2-point crossover, uniform crossover, like that. In crossover, basically some part of one chromosome is cut and added to some other part of the next chromosome, so that they are going to interchange some genes. The two chromosomes will interchange some genes and will form new offsprings. Then the next step is exploration. For exploration, whatever information we are missing so far, we will try to have those informations. So for that, we are going to mutate our chromosome, and then we will evaluate the fitness of that offspring, that is also known as children chromosome, or simply children. So if we are getting better fitness, we are going to achieve something. If by chance we are not getting better fitness, so what we are losing? Nothing. But this way, having a trade-off between this exploitation and exploration, or in other words, crossover and mutation, we are going to achieve our solution, global solution. So as discussed, the fitness of children are evaluated and then compared with the worst fitness of the chromosome available in our population so far. And if we are getting better fitness, the children is having better fitness, children are having better fitness, then they will occupy the position in our population by replacing the chromosomes with lesser fitness. So this is known as survival of fittest. Those who are having better fitness will survive. Those who will have lesser fitness will go from the population, will die out. So if we want to summarize our algorithm in any programming language, so we may start like this: begin, then initialize population with random candidate solution. If you have some guess, you can start from that point. If you don't have any idea, you can start from any point. Just you need to have to check that the chromosomes are representing a feasible solution, whether poor feasible solution or better, but it must be feasible. Then we have to evaluate each candidate, and we will assign a particular term will be known as a fitness value. So with this index fitness, we will give weightage to the different chromosomes which we have initialized in our initial stage. Then after that, again, exploitation and exploration starts. For that, we have one loop. Start, you may use while loop or any other loop. So repeat, then select parents for exploitation, that is crossover, in order to make some new offspring. Recombine pair of parents, and then mutate the resulting children. Whatever offspring we have obtained so far after recombination, also known as crossover, in order to achieve our exploitation task. The offspring will be mutated in order to achieve the next task, that is exploration, that is to achieve the objective or the property whatever is missing in our population so far. Then the children will be, the fitness of the children will be evaluated, and then we will select based on the fitness of these children and the fitness information of the chromosomes available so far in our population. So if we are getting better fitness, if these children, the fitness of these children is better than the worst, then at least worst fitness of the population, of the chromosome of population, then these children will replace that worst chromosome having worst fitness. And this process will repeat, that is, it will run in a loop unless we will achieve, till we will achieve our solution. Once we will achieve our solution, we will terminate our program and we will publish our result. So it depends on the level of accuracy desired by the programmer, by the user. If you need very fine accuracy, then the number of loops, the number of computational loops may increase, the number of iterations may increase. So it depends on your criteria. If you are expert enough to have an idea that, okay, after certain generations, after certain number of iterations, you may achieve your solution, you can fix your termination criteria based on the number of generations, number of iterations, like 100, 500, 1000, like that. Depends upon the complexity of the problem. So a small problem will converge very fast, but for complex problems of any discipline, whether mechanical, electrical, civil, aesthetics, applied sciences, whatever it is. So complexities decides the speed of computation. Sometimes nature of your problem formulating. Sometimes your problem might be non-convex. Sometimes you are having very good problem, which is very good, having very good nature, convex nature. So that can converge very fast. So this way, we can briefly understand the basics behind this genetic algorithm. So if you have any questions so far, you can stop me. Otherwise, I will proceed. So this is the same flowchart which we discussed. If you want to understand this technique in terms of flowchart, so initialize your population and set a counter for population. Start population with 1. Then whatever chromosomes you have put in your initial population, evaluate fitness of each chromosome of your population. That means calculate the fitness function for each. That's why we are having another check whether this counter has reached number of populations or not. Suppose we have a population size of 10 chromosomes. So starting from chromosome number 1, we will evaluate fitness of chromosome 1, then 2, then 3, and this loop will continue until we have evaluated the fitness of 10th chromosome, that is last chromosome. Remember that here we have assumed the number of chromosomes in our population as 10. Someone may be interested in having 20 or 40 or 50 like that. So once fitness of each chromosome is evaluated, we will start our next loop. And in each loop, we will perform our 2 basic objectives of exploitation and exploration. That is reproduction, crossover, and mutation. We are going to reproduce new offsprings, and then we will check its fitness. That is, we will check whether the offspring created so far is able to put in our population by replacing the chromosome with worst fitness or not. And this process will continue unless our stopping criteria is achieved. So in this flow chart, I have put our stopping criteria at certain number of generations. Suppose 500. So once 500 generations are reached, this program will terminate. But it depends on problem to problem. We can't fix the maximum number of generations as the stopping criteria. This will here I have put just for indicative purpose, but remember that this will depend on your problem, your type of problem, complexity of your problem. Maybe if your problem is simpler, then your problem will converge very fast within 10, 12 or 13 or like 50 within 50 generations. So it is not a good idea to have to set our generations, maximum number of generations as 500,000 like that. It will take unnecessary computational time. So sometimes even after reaching 500 or 1000 generations, whatever you have put as your stopping criteria, maybe your problem will prematurely converge. That is, it is not guaranteed that you will get global solution. So for that, you should have some other stopping criteria I will discuss later, like stall generation. That is, in next generation, you are not achieving any benefit. Whatever information you are having, you are not adding any other information to your population. That is, you are not getting the chromosome of better fitness, better than worst, or even worst. On later stage, you will see that all the chromosomes will have same fitness at the end, near about same fitness at the end, because our basic principle of computation using GA is based on survival of fittest. So survival of fittest means the stronger one in terms of fitness, they will survive, and finally the fittest one will be at the top, and the remaining one will also be having their fitnesses near about the base, or sometimes maybe all are having the same. So talking about components of a GA, so encoding principles, we have discussed gene, and several genes forms a chromosome, and a chromosome represents a feasible solution to our problem. Then we have to initialize our population with several chromosomes. Then we will select parents for crossover, reproduction, and then mutation, and then survival selection. Then again, evaluation. And finally, we will terminate our program once solution is reached. So parameters of solution, that is genes, are concatenated to form a strong chromosome. So several genes will form a chromosome. For example, you are having an engineering problem which is having 100 variables. Suppose your function is having 100 variables for which you are going to solve. So each variable is represented by a gene. So all the genes corresponding to your variables, suppose 100 variables. So 100 genes will be concatenated to form a chromosome. And this one chromosome will be nothing but a set of 100 variables, x1, x2, x3 up to xn, x100, which are unknown. x1, x2, x3 up to x100 are unknowns for which you are going to solve your problem. And this set of 100 variables will represent a chromosome. And this set of x1, x2 up to xn will be lying among their limits. Suppose limits are given. So for example, if it is given that all x's must be real or positive, simply positive, it means you can't put any gene as negative number. That is termed as your chromosome must represent a feasible solution. Fine. So several such chromosomes will be formed, and each chromosome will represent a feasible solution of your problem. For example, if you are assuming a population size of 10 for your problem which is having 100 variables, so in matrix form, if you are going to represent your gene by an element of matrix, so first row of matrix will represent chromosome number 1, and the number of columns in the matrix will be 100. So column 1 represent variable x1, column 2 will represent variable x2, and so on, and column number 100 will represent variable x100. So if our population size is 10 for our problems of 100 variables, so the dimension of this matrix will be 10 by 100. Hope you got this concept of initialization of your problem. But here x1, x2 up to x100, we are having 10 such set. So these are feasible solution but not optimal solution. For example, if you know that x1 must be within 0 and 50, so the elements of first column will be randomly chosen between 0 and 50, but you have to get the optimal value of x1 between 0 and 50. That will come at later stage. But in initialization, you have to take care of this, that X1 must lie between its domain, that is between its lower and upper limit. That will be termed as feasible value. Otherwise, your chromosome will show an illegal solution, that is not feasible solution. So you have to take care of this. Similarly, for X2, if you are having your range from 0 to 500, so the element of second column of your matrix will represent a number, randomly chosen number between 0 and 500. Anywhere, it's okay. It's okay. This technique is strong enough to reach to the global solution. Suppose your global solution is having the value of X2 as 27.05394, but you don't know as of now. But you know that X2 lies between 0 and 500. That's enough. Just randomly guess any number between 0 and 500, where 450.973. Fine. Just put there. This will represent a gene of any chromosome. And so far, you will initialize your population. After that, the exploitation and exploration process will start in terms of crossover, mutation, and survival selection. All kind of alphabets can be used for chromosome, that is numbers, characters, even binary numbers, 0101. So sometimes it may complicate your formulation. Depends on problem to problem. So order of genes on a chromosome can be important. Yes, order will be important. As discussed so far, that our first column represents the variable x1, second column represents variable x2. So this order is very important. You can't interchange. Maybe x1 and x2 are not having similar type of nature. May not be having similar type of values. Maybe x1 actual value of global value of solution will consist x1 as 2.37943, but x2 might be having 27 point something like that. So order is important. You have to maintain a proper order of genes or variables in the chromosome, which is representing a feasible solution in your population. Generally, many different codings for the parameters of a solution are feasible. Good coding is probably the most important factor for the performance of a GA. So if you are already using GA, well and good. So you are expert enough to understand this line, that good coding practice is required to have a good program to converge your problem faster. So you have to take care of that. Depends on your problem. If your problems is having some decision type of variable, whether some device is somewhere present or not, where some traffic signal on or off, like that. So there you can use binary. But everywhere using binary is not a wise decision, because sometimes it may complicate your way of computation. So there you may use some permutation type of things, some real numbers, some colors. So it depends on problem to problem. In many cases, many possible chromosomes do not code for feasible solution. You have to take care of all these things. Representations. Representation chromosomes could be bit stream like 0101 in terms of binary variables, real numbers, permutations of elements, list of rules. You may form your own rules, rename it R1, R2, R3, rule number 1, rule number 2, rule number 3, like that. And each rule represents a gene, and the several set of several genes form a chromosome or any data structure. Initialization. As stated earlier, you may initialize from anywhere, but it will be good if you are initializing from a guess. whether from some experts or outputs of some other optimization technique which is not capable of giving global solution, but giving near optimal solution, you may start from there itself. This technique, GA technique, is capable of giving you global solution. But again, I will remind you, this will depend on the complexity of your problem and your patience. If you want 100% accurate result, then you have to have a patience. It may take time. But if you are okay with certain level of accuracy, that you can terminate faster. Selection purpose to focus the search in promising region of the space and inspiration already stated Darwin's survival of fittest. So this technique is inspired with natural evolution, and we know that dinosaur does not exist. Why? Why dinosaur did not survive? So based on this survival of fittest, this technique is inspired from this, and it makes a trade-off between exploration and exploitation of the search space. If you will focus more, if you will give more weight to the exploration, that there is a chance of premature convergence, that you will not get global solution, you may get local solution. On the other hand, if you will give more weightage to the exploitation, then you will have some meandering effect, that your program is not terminating. It is moving from valleys to valleys, also from peak to peak. Someone is saying that slides are not visible. Is it like that?
Slides are visible.
Okay, visible. Okay. Please check your internet connection. It might happen that from your side connection is lost or poor network. Okay. So crossover. Crossover enables the evolutionary process to move towards promising region of the search space. That is, it tries to exploit the information available so far, matches good parents, sub-solutions to construct better offspring, how we will discuss later. Generating offspring from two selected parents. So now we will discuss crossover in detail. As stated in previous slide, now we are going to focus on crossover. So crossover may be single point crossover, 2-point crossover, that is multi-point crossover, or uniform crossover. How? We just focus on these chromosomes having binary variables. That is, genes are binary in nature. That is 01, 01, 01 like that, having only 1 or 0. Sarfraz is asking to share my screen. So can others confirm whether my screen is being shared or not? Anyone can type yes or no.
Yes, one of the participants has cleared that slides are visible. I think yes, yes, slides are visible.
Okay.
I request Dr. Zakaullah to please check your connection or settings because slides are visible. Other participants are also confirming this. So please check your connection, Dr. Zakaullah.
Okay. So first we'll discuss 1-point crossover. So before that, just focus on two chromosomes, parents. One parent is shown in red color, another parent of the population is shown in blue color. So we are going to find out a random position of gene, or simply a random position. Let us say that random position is coming out to be 4, as indicated by this arrow. So from this point, the two parents will mate to form offsprings. So let us cut the parents from at the position which is randomly achieved, and suppose it is coming out to be 4, then you can see that the two parts of the two parents are being interchanged to form two offsprings having same number of genes, like that. Remember that we have maintained the order of the genes here. This is important. So this way we have formed two offsprings. This is known as crossover. 1-point crossover. Now let us see the same crossover with this diagram. So two parents, parent 1 and parent 2, are interchanging some of their portions to form two new offsprings. Some part of this offspring is from one left hand side offspring. The top part is from parent 1, but the bottom part is from parent 2. For the right hand side offspring, the top part is from parent 2, but the bottom part is from parent 1. So this way we are having two offsprings, but we don't know whether we are getting the offsprings which will also represent a feasible solutions, but whether they are giving us better solution or not. That will be decided after evaluation of the fitnesses. So before evaluation of fitnesses, we are about to achieve our next target, that is exploration with the help of mutation, which will be discussed later. So far, we are discussing 1-point crossover. Then we will discuss 2-point crossover. So in 2-point crossover, randomly two positions in the chromosomes are selected. So now you can see again two positions. Suppose first position is again coming out to be 4, and the next position is 8. So between 2 and 8, we will cut from both the parents and we will interchange these portions. So again, with the help of colors, you can easily distinguish which part of offspring is coming out from which parent. So this way, again, we are getting two offsprings. Then reproduction operation may also be understood with the help of colors. So again, another allele. Genes are here represented not with binary variables, but with some colors. So you can see single point crossover. We have again randomly generated one number. Let us the previous one coming out to be 4th. So see the 4th position, genes have been interchanged. Fine. Similarly, for 2-point crossover, we have randomly generated two positions and we have cut the genes corresponding to the positions obtained so far, and we have interchanged among the parents so that two offsprings are formed. Now let us talk about the third type of crossover. So far we discussed single point crossover, multi-point crossover, that is 2-point crossover. Crossover more than having 2 points, 2 or more points, that is more than 1 points. Now here in uniform crossover, a random mask is generated. You see, we have generated random mask, and mask, suppose we have our chromosomes having genes represented by binary variables. So our mask will be randomly generated in terms of 0101 like that. So corresponding to 1, the positions of genes in one parent will be marked, and corresponding to 0 of the mask, the positions of other parents will be marked. And then the marked position will be cut from both the parents and will be recombined to form offspring. So this is known as uniform crossover. Now come to the exploration. After selection and crossover, you now have a new population full of individuals. Some are directly copied, that is exploration part is here, and others are produced by crossover. Sorry, exploitation part is there. So far we have exploited our information available so far. Now we want to explore. For that we need to mutate. In order to ensure that the individuals are not all exactly the same, you allow for a small chance of mutation. You look through all the alleles of all individuals, and if that allele is selected from mutation, you can either change it by a small amount, very small amount, 1 or 2 in thousands. See here. Here, if you want to mutate, so the size is very less, not in thousands. So at least you can have one gene interchanged. See in red color, you may see that before and after, the one is changed by 0. Obviously, we don't have much option in binary variables. If you want to change, 1 can be changed to 0 or 0 can be changed to 1. But if you are having real numbers as your genes, so you can easily change. Like 27.3546, you may change it to something 23 point something like that. You may change. So this was theoretical discussion of the technique involved in this algorithm, genetic algorithm. Now we will solve one problem, very popular problem, traveling salesman problem. So how this problem is being solved using genetic algorithm, we will discuss it first, and then we will have some questions answers. If you have some question, you may note down. We will discuss it at the end or in between. If you want, we can discuss in between also. Right. Okay. So the statement of this problem is, how many of you are aware of this problem? This problem is being solved in various branches of engineering, even applied mathematics, well-known problem. We are not getting any audience input. Am I audible to all of you? Audience, please.
Yes, you are audible. Their mics are switched off. That's why they can.
Okay. They can type. Yeah. Okay. The traveling salesman must visit every city in his territory exactly once and then return to the starting point. Given the cost of travel between all cities, how should he plan his itinerary for minimum total cost of the entire tour? So, in simple way, you can understand this problem like you are at any airport. I am modifying this problem. You are at any airport and you have to travel all the airports of the world, but exactly once, not twice. Your objective is you are starting your visit from any airport of the world, and the target is you have to visit all airports of the world and return to your original airport from where you started your journey, provided two things: you have to visit all airports, and second thing, you have to visit any airport once only, not twice or more than that. And you have to find out the minimum cost of travel. So you can travel all the airports of the world in many ways, but the expenditure will be different for each tour. There will exist only one tour which will give you the minimum cost of travel. Hope you got the question. For example, suppose nowadays you can travel any airport directly or indirectly, right? And if you want from internet, you can get the cost of travel at any day or at any point of time, right? So if someone asks you that, tell me the total cost of this plan, this tour, I want to travel all the airports and return to the original airport from where I will start. But my cost of travel should be the minimum of all the tours, feasible tours. For example, you have to travel from Delhi to Mumbai. So one way you can directly travel from Mumbai to Delhi. Another way you can go to Dubai. Then you can go to USA. Then you can come to Mumbai. That is also a feasible solution, feasible tour. But you have to find out a tour which will give you the best price of travel, minimum one. And that will be one and only one. Manually, it is close to impossible to find out, but our algorithm will find it easily. How we will apply the genetic algorithm, exploitation and exploration aspects, we will discuss now. So again, there are various ways of formulating our problem. So we will discuss one way of formulation. This is not the only way. You are free to formulate your problem in your own way. Just you have to identify the variables, their constraints, like that. Okay. So in short, we will represent this problem by TSP, traveling salesman problem. The materials you can easily find out on internet. I have also taken these materials from somewhere, but we have to focus on the concept behind this technique, genetic algorithm. So traveling salesman problem you can also find on internet. So here we will formulate our problem with certain variables, and those variables will be represented by certain representation of genes, like a vector, that is chromosome I1, I2 up to In, where N represents number of cities to be traveled. Recall that our main problem is to find out the minimum cost of tour by a traveling salesman, which has to travel n number of cities once only, and all cities, and return to its original city. So V is a permutation of 1, 2, 3. Suppose n is 1000. So for 1000 cities, one order will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 1000. Another order will be, you can have several permutations. One after one, you may have 50, 51 like that, then put 2 somewhere else like that. So order matters. If after 1, 2 comes, it means from city number 1, you have to visit city number 2. If after 150, city number 50 comes, it means from city number 1, first you have to travel city number 50, but you have to travel each city. So each number starting from 1 to n will always be available in the chromosome, in any chromosome. And each number corresponding to cities will be once only in any chromosome, so that one city will be visited once only. In other words, each number from 1 to n must be present in the chromosome, and none of the numbers should be missing, and none of the numbers will be repeated. That is, the size will be n. So fitness f of a solution is inverse cost of the corresponding dual. If we want to maximize our function, if cost involved, remember always, either your formulated problem will be in terms of cost, design cost, or total cost, whatever revenue you are getting, whatever expenditure is being incurred in that project. So finally, if it is coming out to be in terms of cost, expenditure, then you have to maximize, or cost in terms of revenue, then you have to maximize it. So just taking reciprocal or a negative of your objective function, you can solve your problem, maximization problem, with minimization technique, or minimization technique problem with maximization technique, just by putting negative sign or taking reciprocal of your objective function. Initialization. Let us talk about initialization. Use either some heuristic or a random sample of permutation of 1, 2, 3 discussed before this. So let us talk about crossover. Let us take two parents. In example, parents P1, and here suppose our numbers are 9 only. For simplicity, we have taken, let us take very simple problem that we have just 9 cities, and the traveling and has put all the, we can change the number at later stage. First try to learn the procedure. Once you are expert, you can change this number to any number. So for 9, one parents, let us take the simple sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Fine. And another parent is having sequence as 4, 5, 2, 1, 8, 7, 6, 9, 3. So you may observe that all cities are available in any chromosome, whether P1 or P2, and none of the city number is repeated. So now crossover. For crossover, we may have single point crossover, multi-point crossover. So let us take the multi-point crossover, 2-point crossover, and randomly we have taken the positions colored in blue. For that, how crossover is being, so we know that this part will be interchanged among the two to form two offsprings O1 and O2. But how to put the other positions? We can't blindly put the positions, because here the constraints has to be taken care. And this constraint says that you can't visit a city twice. You can't miss any city. So for that, how we are going to apply this constraint here in this crossover will be discussed now. So first, the segments between cut points are copied into offspring. You may observe that the blue colored genes of the two parents P1 and P2 are copied into the two offspring to be formed. Fine. So now, starting from the end of second parent, that is 9, starting after blue of second parent, we will start from 9. So 9, 3, then sequence, maintain the proper sequence. It will be 9, 3, 4, 5, 2. Let us write it like this. So it will be 9, 3, 4, 5, 2, and then 1, 8, 7, 6. You may observe again in parent 2, starting from the end of this cut point, that is 9 3 in and black color, 9 3, then 4 5 2, then 1 8 7 6, right? So first write this sequence. So once this sequence is written, remove the repeated genes from here. So repeated genes from here will be, what was that? 4 5 6 7. So 4 5 6 7 will be omitted from this sequence. So our sequence is 9 3 4 5 2 1 8 7 6, and we have to omit 4 5 6 7. So our sequence will be 9 3, then 4 5 is removed, then 2 1, 8 will be there, and 7 6 will be removed. So finally we are getting, after removal of cities from the first offspring, we are getting 9 3 2 1 8. So now the O1 positions, empty positions will be filled so far. So starting from the end point, that is after 7, start putting this achieved as 93218. So after putting this 93218, we are getting one offspring as O1, which is having sequence as 218456793. This sequence is different than the original sequence of any of the parent, you may observe. Similarly, for offspring 2, to fill the empty positions of offspring O2, we will start the end point of these cut points of parent 1. So it is 89123. So from this 89123, we will remove 1876. So after removing whatever sequence we are getting, we will start filling O1 and O2, and we will get as 187692345. You may check yourself. Fine. Now inversion. See, we are maintaining proper sequence, but we started from random case. So maybe our optimal solution is not following that sequence. So we need to inverse a chromosome, sequence of a chromosome, so that we will not miss the optimal solution from our search space. For example, if we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 as a sequence of a chromosome, so we are going to invert some part of this chromosome, the order of some genes of this chromosome colored in blue, 3 4 5 6 7. You may observe after inversion it will be start from end 7 6 5 4 3, like such simple inversion guarantees that resulting offspring is a legal doer. And finally, you are not going to miss the optimal solution from your search space. Wherever it is, you will find it. Then evaluation, that is fitness calculation. Solution is only as good as the evaluation function. If your fitness, whatever the values of the variables you are getting in your offspring, if after putting those values in your function, if your objective function is improved, it means you are getting a chromosome of better fitness. Means you are approaching towards your global solution. Choosing a good one is often a hardest part. Or we can say that this is an art of formulating your problem. Similar encoded solutions should have a similar fitness. Survival selection strategies, as stated earlier also, that the fitness of the offsprings will be evaluated and compared with the existing fitnesses of the chromosomes of the population. So it must be at least better than the fitness of the chromosome which is having worst fitness in the population. So always keep the best one. Deletion of the worst. This is called survival of fittest. Now, probability selection for crossover. We discussed crossover and mutation. So probability of selection of chromosomes for crossover depends on their fitness, but they are not directly proportional to their fitness. Otherwise, our solution will locally converge. So there are various techniques we will discuss later. How the parents are being selected from the population for crossover. Too a strong fitness selection bias can lead to suboptimal solution, that is local solution discussed so far. So it is not necessary that the chromosome having highest fitness will always participate and like that. Otherwise, our solution will converge very fast. We will be happy, but we will not achieve our solution. That might be local solution, which is not being liked by any programmer. Too little fitness bias selection results in unfocused and meandering search. If you will not give proper weight to the chromosomes having better fitnesses, then you are not going to exploit your solution, your information in a better manner, and then your program will take very large time. That is known as meandering effect. Even it will reach to some valley or some top, it will not stay there. It will jump from there in order to search of better one. And the search will continue. It will not terminate. So this is called meandering effect. It will only move and move. Now come to the chances of being selected for crossover. That is how the parents are selected for crossover. So chances to be selected as parents is proportional to fitness. Okay, proportional to fitness, but not directly proportional to fitness. We have roulette wheel technique to avoid problem with fitness function tournament. So binary example of coding. Now talk about coding. So our chromosomes may be represented by binary variables 0101. But for our problem, traveling salesman problem, it will be a complicated one. And most chromosome will code for illegal dual because we have only freedom with 0 and 1. And sometimes their combination will result in infeasible solution. And sometimes several chromosomes will have the same dual. Paths. Cities are numbered. Chromosomes is a string of integer. Again, if we will number, then a similar problem may occur. Ordinal cities are numbered, but code is complex. All possible chromosomes are legal and only one chromosome for each dual or several others. So for example, let us take for our traveling salesman problem, and we are discussing how the chromosomes are selected for a crossover. So in which one technique discussed was roulette wheel. Tournament was also there. So let us discuss the tournament roulette wheel first. So let us take we have chromosomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 chromosomes. And each chromosome is assigned some fitness values depending upon their fitness evaluated using your objective function. So fitness of first one is 8, second one is 2, third one is 17, and fourth one is 7, 4, 11, like that. So running total, let us take the cumulative one. First one is 8, then next is 8 plus 2, 10, then next 10 plus 17, 27, then 27 plus 7, 34, then 34 plus 4, 38, then 38 plus 4, 11, 49. So now total sum is 49. Sum of fitnesses. So randomly generate a number between 0 and Between 0 means not 0. Above 0, or you can say between 1 and 49, including 1 and 49. So let us take, this is coming out to be 23. Any number can come. You are taking randomly. So 23 is obviously in between 1 and 49. So there is chance of getting 23 or any other number. So now you have to take the chromosome for which the running total is coming out to be equal or greater than this number. First equal and greater than, because 34 is also greater than 23, 38 is also greater than 23, but 27 is the first one which is among 34 and 38, which is closest to 23. We can say that, but it must be higher than that, closest to 23. So it means this way we will select chromosome 3 for participation in crossover. So in this way, you may try also. The chance to be selected is exactly proportional to the fitness. This is known as roulette wheel. Now come to the tournament, binary tournament. The two individuals are randomly chosen and the fitter of the two is selected. That is tournament. Tournament means two players are playing and the fitter one is selected, right? Another one is runner. So you have to select the one which is fittest, fitter than the other one. This is binary tournament. Probabilistic binary tournament. Two individuals are randomly chosen with a chance P, where P lies between 0.5 and 1. The fitter of the two is selected as a parent. Or larger tournament, instead of two, we are having several individuals and the fittest one is selected. By changing N or P, the GA can be adjusted dynamically. This way, we have control over dynamics of GA by changing probability P between 0.5 and 1 or N, number of participants in the tournament. Now, termination condition. The generation process is repeated until a termination condition has been reached. It means once your solution is achieved, you have to terminate your program. Otherwise, it will continue to compute. Suppose you are using while loop or do while, repeat, whatever programming language you are using, whether C, C++, MATLAB, Fortran. So whatever program you are using, the theme will be same. So whatever loop you are using, there may be differences in the way of looping. You might have observed that in C, the programming method is different than in C++. Slightly different than MATLAB also. C++ and MATLAB, most of the commands are common. So it depends on you. So here we will focus on MATLAB. If you know C++, you can easily understand using MATLAB also. Remember that we have another session also, starting from 2 in afternoon. So there we will discuss its application in an engineering problem using MATLAB. So common terminating conditions are: a solution is found that satisfies minimum criteria. If you are satisfied with your solution, okay, I'm achieved. I'm happy with this solution. Our goal is achieved. Accuracy is achieved. Okay, you can terminate it. Or you can fix number of generations. Allocate budget in terms of time or money. Suppose you have hired some person and you have some deadline of your project. You have to deliver your project to your customers. So there you have some deadline in terms of time. So you are not free to deliver a project which is expected to be delivered within a day, and you can't take months like that. So they are depending upon your allocated budget, you may terminate your program. The highest ranking solutions fitness is reaching or has reached a plateau such that successive iterations no longer produce better results. This is also known as stallation, stall generation. So this term is also defined in MathWorks, also by MathWorks in MATLAB. stall generation in your settings options. You may set your stall generation 10 like 10 or 20, 50. That is continuous 10 and 20 solutions are having same solution, not any improvement. It means you are there is no much chance of further improvement. You can stop your program and you can print your solution. Fine. Or manual inspection or any combination of the app. Thank you very much. Questions if you have.
You can take questions from the participants. If there are any questions, you can type in the chat box or raise your hand so that I will unmute your mic. Okay, we have a question. Yes, Dr. Sonali Bhatnagar, you can ask your question.
Good morning, sir. Could I get the link of this paper that you've just posted?
Which paper?
You've just shown us a paper, Abhi. So the last, Abhi आपने last screen पे एक paper था ना? So I
This
just wanted the link.
one?
Yeah. No, not this. There was a Springer paper, I think. What we can do is we can at least get these papers by mail. Just the link. We
Yeah,
can download it.
tell me which paper you are talking about. I will give you. Which paper?
I think it was a Springer. The last that you showed, it had.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
You
it
might.
was this.
Okay, okay.
This.
This
So
one.
if
This
we,
one.
this one, this one.
Yes,
Because
yes,
my
yes.
screen अभी छोटा हो गया है screen मेरा. हाँ, now I can see it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I will discuss these papers in afternoon. Once we will utilize our MATLAB to solve problems. These papers are mine. I can mail you, or you can download it yourself.
No, sir, mail is not necessary. Just the link in the chat box, and I'll be able to take it out from.
Okay,
the
yes,
net.
yes. So you are asking link, right? This paper
Yeah,
link.
yeah. Yes.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the participants? Okay, I guess there are no further questions. Thank you, Dr. Afroz Alam, for such an informative lecture. I hope all the participants benefited from this lecture. I'm sure the next session will be more interactive and enjoyable. Thank you, Dr. Afroz Alam.
Thank you all. Thank you, patience, for listening me.